Teaching log number 10. Today I'm collecting my students' essay, and I don't know how I feel about that. I finished grading the second exercise that they turned in, and I'm realizing that my students know how to be aware of the audience and know how to address certain people. They just don't really know how to summarize. So I'm going to try to go over that today in class a little bit more. And I'm also going to start talking about progression number 2. And what progression number 2 is going to do is get them to kind of start writing their own narrative. Since I'm using fairy tales in the class, I want them to take into consideration that fairy tales influence narratives. Like, a story can only happen once we know the elements of a story. So looking at a fairy tale, we have to look at like plot, action, the conflict, the setting, how they describe the setting, how they describe the character, like what is important about this. Like, they don't need to go over the entire thing in the universe, but that's what their next essay is. Their first exercise that they have to do is get used to description and like analyzing description to kind of create some interest within the reader. I don't know how well this story is going to work, though, because the story that we're focusing on for this progression is Sleeping Beauty. I think it will work, but I have mixed feelings about it. What's good is that there is a text, there is a work in the text that is more modern. It's by, I don't remember, but it's a really good contemporary piece, and they can play with the fairy tales and create their own story, which is something that I want them to do with this exercise, with this whole progression. I honestly am not really that prepared for today. I had a lot of things going on that just kind of let me neglect my class, because I'm constantly playing catch up. I'm constantly trying to keep up with everything else, and this time I didn't even put much time to preparing. I spent more time grading. I just uploaded the grades. It's hidden for now, which I will make live after class, but wish me luck for today. I think today is just going to be discussion based, and I'm thinking of taking some chocolates to class to get them to answer some questions, because I need a pick me up, and I'm pretty sure they do too. So, ta for now. I just taught class, and I was thinking about talking about the elements of fairy tales. I went over what their next assignment is. Since I'm technically not giving them any break, I'm giving them a chance to talk about the different elements of fairy tales. And today, I noticed that half of my class was like falling asleep. I guess it's just that day. I feel like that too. And I actually went with like a box of chocolates. And I'm like, all right, if you say something, I'm going to give you a chocolate. If everyone talks, you're going to get a chocolate. If you don't, then you're not getting a chocolate. By the end of the class, everyone except one student has talked. And I gave him multiple opportunities to try to talk. I gave him a chance to read something from the PowerPoint, and he didn't. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that student. But what they started talking about is like analyzing Shrek, because Shrek has fairy tales. And what was really interesting is that they're thinking about, what a fairy tale has. It has magic. It has a princess, a hero, a dragon, there's a tower, things like that. And I'm like, all right, well, we need to narrow this down. These are all what can be in a story, what is in a story. And then slowly they started developing like, okay, there's a character, there's plot, there's setting, there's a conflict, there's a rising action, an object of power, all of these different things. And it was working out much better. One of the simplest things is that a story has a beginning, middle, and an end. Simple as that. And then I drew the plot diagram where it's like there's an expedition, there's a rising action, then the climax, a falling action, and resolution. And from that, I like gave them different examples of like the exercises we are going to talk about, and I had them fill out a plot diagram on a certain event in their life and talk about it in groups. And it was a little bit more quieter, again, on the quiet side. What it appears that using my own work as an example of like setting or using or creating a scene or talking about an object kind of helped out, because I do have a more rounded education when it comes to English, the field of English. Like I have a little bit of creative writing, I have a little bit of research writing, I tutor and I teach and I read, but having them read like a creative piece that I have since abandoned kind of helped them see how these different plots and how all these different elements come together. I am worried for one of my students right now who, as of today, has missed 4 classes. In the previous week, she has emailed me and told me that there is a reason why she's absent. But she hasn't come to contact me since then. And the reason is valid and excusable, but I need to get some kind of proof about it. Like, I don't want to be like, all right, you're excused, because right now the 4 absences and no work turned in, she's failing. I'm going to go send her an email right now and be like, hey, I just want to check up on, I just want to let you know that you have 4 absences in my syllabus. That means you're failing the class. I can excuse absences due to your event if it's really, but I don't know, it's really weird. I hope this semester gets better. I feel like I'm constantly catching up in a constant state of stress. But despite the constant state of stress, I seem to be okay. Key term being seem. I guess that's it for today. Or no, I got back my students' work, my students' essays, so I now have a huge pile of papers to grade, and this is work that there was even 3 students missing in class that haven't turned it in. Grading all of this is hard. I'm underestimating what it's like to be a teacher, and I didn't realize how hard it was before. Because I'm forgetting everything that it is that I wanted to do with this class. And like, I'm not going to get emotional right now. I don't feel the need to get emotional. But if I haven't had someone to talk to about this, I'm going to talk to somebody about this. Because I'm in this constant state of fear that I'm failing my students and that I'm not good enough to be a teacher. And I feel like the amount of times I clarify some of my points to my students, it's not working out. But one of the things that I need to do is get a head start on the grading. Because I think one of the only reasons why I feel this way is because I haven't started the grading when I get the exercises. Like, I wait on it and then I start grading, and the workload gets bigger and harder, and it becomes more of an emotional roller coaster to me. But I don't know how relevant, how useful this teaching log is going to be. But all I know is hopefully the next teaching log is going to be better. And hopefully I get my stuff together, because there's no time to slow down with my class. I think one of these days I'm going to have to take a mental day. But that's it for today's teacher log number 10. Until next time, where I am ready to yank my hair out. Bye.